You're very relaxed. You asked a question. What was the question you asked?
Why should I put background noise at the beginning of the audio?
The reason why you should always put it in the 30 seconds when you record something is because there is a feature, what's it called, Audacity? No, what's the free software? The sound software stuff. Start with an A. Do you remember what it's called?
Audacity is a free sound software. It works on destructive editing though.
What's that mean?
There's, I believe, 2 types of editing, maybe 3. There's destructive and constructive editing. One takes away sound and the other adds sound. Noise cancelling headphones are constructive. Audacity is destructive. If you take a destructive thing, you're slowly going to get more noise and more grain and more bleh. And it's also generally going to be quieter, which means you're going to have to input more volume, more grain, more noise. Basically, it's like turning up the ISO on your camera because you use a extremely short exposure time. It works, right? Using destructive editing is like turning down the exposure on a camera. You get a darker image. You can turn up the ISO, but you get more noise. Constructive editing, like turning up the exposure, you get a brighter image. You can turn down the ISO, and you get a crisper sound. Not to be confused with the sound made by a crisper. Genome altering machine.
So, explain to me how headphones
Noise canceling headphones.
Do it for God.
In with light, right? There's this cool feature of light where if you take photons, they're waves. What happens to any wave? And you take 2 photons and get them at just the right wavelength. The 2 photons can have either positive or negative interference. So, if the first photon is going right, and when it has a high bit, the other photon has a low bit, right? Then the 2 cancel out and cancel out to be 0. If the 2 have high bits at the exact same time, it becomes 2. Cancel out to become 2. That's constructive or destructive interference. Now, in a wave, flights or waves, all particles technically are waves, but
Totally odd.
you can see a macro version of a wave via sound and atmosphere. And if you have 2 waves and the oscillation of the wave is just right, such that the tip of one wave is the tip of the other wave, you can get constructive interference. And alternatively, you can get destructive interference, where it gets nullified. Now, headphones work on the basis of, actually, no, I think they work on destructive. Wait. I feel like they work on constructive editing of destructive interference. Okay, so the way noise canceling headphone would work is it feeds in sound to you, or out, both, and it feeds in a specifically tuned sound that's very fast and calculated by a small chip inside of it. And there's a microphone on the outside, and there's a chip and a speaker, and the chip calculates exactly what frequency. It probably doesn't even have to be a really big chip. It's just a simple noise algorithm. It's just a simple sound thing. Adjust simple logic gate, like one logic gate probably.
Go on.
It makes the opposite of whatever sound your noise is from outside. It makes the exact opposite of that, and cancels it out such that you now don't hear the noise outside.
That sounds constructive.
Probably why I thought it was constructive. It's destructive because it's using destructive interference. Constructive interference is up and up. Destructive interference is up and down. Cancel out, which is how a noise canceling headphone works.
So is it possible to have constructive interference that takes away sound?
Constructive interference, by definition, would make the noise louder. How that's what you could do. You could have, if you're trying to listen to speakers from very far away, you could have a noise boosting headphone that would apply constructive interference. Applying destructive and constructive interference at the exact same time, though, a bit more complicated than a simple logic gate. It requires you have to differentiate between what you want to pull out and what you don't want to pull out. I'm assuming what you're saying is that some recording software feature,
Go on.
Some software has a feature. Some software has a feature.
Keep trying. Listening for the. Change that.
I'm assuming what you're saying. Some software has a feature where you can take a sample of noise and apply destructive interference specifically to that noise against everything else.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I'm assuming what you're saying is that a software could take a sample of noise and then reverse that noise in order to apply destructive interference to that noise throughout the entire recording. It takes a sample that uses this as its wanted photo to kill the noise. And it takes this.
It's what photo?
Wanted photo.
What's that mean?
Bounty Hunter has this wanted photo. Random tree post, probably wanted photo. Wanted photo. Is that guy? Is that guy this wanted photo?
Okay.
You can make noise.
What?
You can take a sample of noise and use it and check for its signature. If you hear that noise in a recording, you can take that sample, reverse it, and nullify any noise. Now that would make sense as a plausible thing to do. I'm not entirely sure Audacity actually has that feature.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at least according to what I read.
haven't really looked into Audacity. I don't like Audacity's UI. It's called UIs.
It's free.
Yeah.
And people say that for a free one, it's pretty good. How much playing around have you done with it? 10 minutes where you're like, I don't like this and what?
About 30 trying to do one thing. That's how complicated its UI is. And people said Adobe After Effects UI is complicated, and I'm like, yeah, no.
That was before you knew very much. Maybe now that you know more, it might be simpler.
No, that was several months ago.
You still know more than you knew several months ago.
Okay. Technically, you can just... UIs, eventually, all you have to do is just play around with them. So theoretically, when I play around with every single button and completely mess up everything, if you have clicking every button about 3 times,
Or you could read an instruction manual.
There's only one app I've read an instruction manual for, and that was Inkscape. And it didn't teach me very much.
Do you know that's a typical male thing? Stereotypically, men don't read the instruction manual. I can do it.
I read the instruction manual for everything else, other than apps.
Kitty, look at that.
I have this philosophy that apps, if their UI is too hard to use, then either they should just upgrade their fucking UI, or if I really want to know it, I'll just keep looking around to figure it out. Most UIs are either simple enough that you can just figure it out by looking at it and using a bit of experience from everything else, or you can figure it out by looking at it for about an hour. Besides, most things don't even have a instruction manual. I mean, they have you can find a YouTube video. That's a YouTube video's instruction manual. I do not like old internet videos because they take all their time typing in Notepad. And also, again, they don't teach you anything. Probably because of that.
Because you don't have the patience for it.
What?
Because you don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, I just... So, we'll click here, and then we move over here, we'll click over here, and on... Even I'm talking faster than they talk.
Well, you talk fast sometimes. When you get really hyper and excited about something, 90 miles an hour, try to keep up. Poor you to process one word a minute. And
the reason why I do that is because
you're excited.
It's
passionate
something that I want to, especially want to feel heard on. And the only way I would usually get heard is if I talk before the other guy starts talking.
Yeah.
So, hope your mortal minds can comprehend.
Stretch. Everybody do a big stretch if you're watching this. Check your posture and just do a nice big stretch. Hands overhead. Yay! Alright. Hope you enjoyed our little explanation of why why on our podcasts we should be taking, probably on our YouTube videos too, but I don't think it's complicated. And it takes up even more space that we don't have, so does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Why it's okay to have 30 seconds at the beginning?
Technically, it's always going to be 30 seconds in the middle, but yeah.
Really?
Probably. Generally, most of my things do have 30 seconds somewhere in the middle.
Well, anyways, the idea is to not get upset at me if I'm taking a long time to get started talking, because although the audience probably hates it because they say they decide whether to watch your video within the first 30 seconds, so you probably shouldn't have it in the final copy.
We can edit it out.
Right.
At the same time, we're editing the noise
Except
out.
I'm not editing anything. I'm just barely getting up my hand to posting things right now, but
I'll try editing.
In the future, if you should ever want to edit and make a nice version of whatever we put out there.
I found a nice free video editing software. So that should help.
If you ever get around to it, yes.
If I ever get around to it.
That's the problem when you have a to-do list 5 billion things long.
It never moves.
Well, things keep adding to it.
Yay.
Oh my god, everyone.
We just titled this video Eagle explaining noise while yawning consistently. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a sample of me yawning.
Yeah. And then every time it yawns, you're gonna edit
out
it
the yawn.
I like your yawns, though. I think they're part of the funny uniqueness. And it reminds
Fine, I'll edit in my yawns to be noise.
And everyone else's it's a reminder to everyone else, take a second to stretch and yawn. By the way, that thing that you just finished doing with your face, where I can't even duplicate it.
What?
The smile-like thing with your eyes. No, not that one. Where you open your mouth up really wide and then wet like that. No, where you squinted your eyes. I don't know. Okay, you're not doing it now. Now that you're trying to do it, it's not happening. But when you were doing it before, automatically, it reminded me of the permaculture guy that does that. He doesn't do it like that, but he does something where he, for a moment, takes a moment to smile and laugh and squint.
Literally everything.
Yeah, he's a happy person. He enjoys life.
So if you enjoy life, and even if you don't, please go and subscribe, because maybe you will enjoy life after a while. And as always, check your posture. And remember, thanks for listening. And just breathe.